what do all of these rooms have in common?
I think they would look even better with a quilt.
Me too. We've got some great ideas for you. Hi, it's Fran Morgan.
And Donna Robertson with Fabric Cafe.
There are so many different room styles in interior design. There's a new trend coming out every single year.
But no matter what your style is, a quilt can always add a little accent to your decor.
So today, we're going to look at some pictures of rooms and show what kind of quilt would look great in it. So color of the year, they announce one every year. This year for 2024, it is going to be Apricot Crush.
Ooh, I love apricot.
I do too. I love orange. And this is such a nice, warm kind of apricot color. It's got a little brown undertones. And we have a great image of this color used in a room.
Oh, cool.
So this is a great way to use this color, but let's kind of look at this image for a minute. We have some touches of some greens, some terracottas with that apricot, as well as some creams. Now, this room is very nice, but do you know what would make it even better?
I think a quilt draped over the arm of that chair or on the wall behind.
I totally agree. And that beautiful apricot crush color. So let's check out a quilt that we can do that. So this quilt is our Bitty Bungalow, and is this not adorable? And it's perfect for our home decor theme here with our little houses. Now, of course, this one's not done in apricot crush, as you can see, but we've got some great fabric that we're going to share with you in just a minute. But this is so darling. We've got our two different size houses here, super, super fast to make. So let's put it on the table and check out that great fabric. So Mom, we have our Bitty Bungalow quilt on the table. This is so cute.
I think so too.
And this is your design, and it's just darling.
I love all of my children. I think they're adorable.
Thank
my
you.
Children and my children's children.
So it's so much fun. And we have a fun kit with this that blends so perfectly with our color of the year of 2024. So we have this beautiful apricot here with, and notice it's got some touches of that green in there to kind of tie in that contrast, which is perfect. And we are using this as our focus fabric, and that is going to go everywhere the white is here. And it's also on the border, so it's going to really give us a nice punch of that color.
Well, you know, that's what's so much fun about being able to see, here's a quilt that's made in these bright pinks and blue, and now we're going to coordinate it with that picture. And this is a perfect little tutorial about how to do that.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so on trend, right? For trendy.
Yes, we always want to be trendy.
So I love this nice apricot color. And then we have a lighter apricot. Here is our number 2. And that's going to go everywhere. You see the blue here in the background. And it's nice because remember that picture, how it kind of was like the desk was that color and the wall was that color. And so we kind of picked up that theme and did our background number 2 that color too.
And you know what? This light apricot in the background will look like a sunset, you know, where it makes the sky kind of turn an orangey pink.
I love that.
I like
that.
I love
that. Okay, so then our number 3, now we're bringing in that pop of green that we talked about and that we saw in the picture. And that is going to be our number 3. It's going to go everywhere the pink is here. So it's going to look really, really great.
Well, you know, now we've kind of visualized it with the fabric. Let's show them what it looks like made up.
Yeah, it is so great. It is so darling in this. And you know, I can see this, just like you said, draped on the back of that chair in that room or on the wall. And it's going to add such a nice little bit of texture and just blend beautifully with those colors.
I agree totally. I think it's going to be adorable.
Absolutely. All right, let's get you some kit info here. This kit is called Apricot Delight, and the pattern is a Bitty Bungalow from our book, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts, and we are suggesting the alternate pattern of Boomerang.
Now, before we move on to the next room style, let's talk about how we are styling.
Oh, we love our shirts.
I love these shirts. They're great.
So Stella Vita Studios provided these for us, and we really appreciate it. We love them. They are so comfy and so, so cute.
And you can find her on Etsy.
Yes, and we'll make sure that we put the link for her site in the See More below, so be sure and check that out.
Thanks so much, Stella Vita.
All right, we've got a great new picture for everyone to see. This is a very serene, calming, pleasing room.
It is, but I like that little pop of color with the flowers on the side table, and then the geometric has that little bit of a Well, would that be the apricot crush again?
Maybe very similar, but this has a whole different color palette. So
Yeah.
if the apricot crush isn't your jam, I get it. So this one is really pleasing. We've got a great quilt too.
Yes, we do. So let's take a look at our next one. Now this is the Elation pattern. And of course we've got it in different colors here, but we've got some special colors picked out for you with a image of another quilt made with this pattern, Elation. And it has all of those little extra things like the geometrics. See how we've got the little geometrics in here going on? And we've got a block so that you can really show off a floral, because I really like the little floral on the side table. So let's put it on the table and talk about it. So friend, this is such a good exercise. You know, we looked at that picture, but for you to be able to sit and look at pictures and then decide, well, what can I bring out on that picture? And how can I select fabric that would coordinate in such a way that it would be an additional oomph for that room?
Yeah.
And this has oomph.
Oh, this is to die for. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous.
I love this. And of course, I love this pattern, and I think it was one of the most popular patterns that we've ever brought out.
Yeah.
People love it. It's quick, it's easy to make, and it's gorgeous. And this big, beautiful print will go right here in this center section of this quilt. And then we have our number 2 fabric, which we all know you have to have a resting place in your quilt so that you can see the geometric and the design that's going on. That's going to be in all of these little pieces. And then to add that extra geometric touch, we've got this dark blue that's going to frame this block and then be the little points on this one.
And you know, I'm going to say this because that room is a beautiful room, but this quilt made up in that room would make it even better.
It would be the cherry on top. I tell you. And look how that goes together. Isn't that gorgeous?
Just gorgeous.
Well, you know, in that picture, you may have noticed it had a little throw over the arm of the chair, but we would put this on the arm of that sofa.
Yeah.
We'd put that on there.
Oh,
It'd
my
be
goodness.
gorgeous. Now, enough said. Let's show them an image.
Yes.
Is this not absolutely stunning?
It is stunning.
I
it is totally
love it.
Stunning.
Yes, and it just does everything that we said it was going to do. It brings out that geometric. It picks up the florals that were on the side table.
Yes.
And it will look great on that sofa.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
It is.
All right, so I want to mention something else about this quilt that is fabulous. So like you said, this was one of our most popular quilts in our stash busting book, and probably one of our most popular quilts ever. But what's really cool about this is in the pattern, we give instructions on how to use layer cakes for this spot. So it's very cool. So if you've got those layer cakes in your stash, that would be a great pattern to use. Be sure and check out our video, Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts, and we'll step through how to do that.
It is going to be great with the layer cake too.
Yes.
Okay, so this one is called Watercolor Garden. It's the Elation pattern from Stash Busting with 3-Yard Quilts, and an alternate pattern would be Town Square.
So we have our next picture of a room for inspiration of a quilt, and look at this room. There's so many bold colors and patterns going on in this, but it's interesting.
It is. You know, just a couple of weeks ago, I went over to a friend's house. We've got this new group of friends that are getting together once a month, and we move around to different houses. And we went to one of our friends' house the other day, and I was just in awe. She had such an amazing house. There was sort of like this. It had little interest points all over it. And it didn't matter what room you were in or where you were sitting. You had something that you just drew your attention. It was awesome.
Well, this gorgeous color palettes, gorgeous patterns and prints. Let's get a quilt that's going to look wonderful in this room. So let's start with the pattern. So this is our dash pattern, and this is going to be amazing in just the right fabric. This is amazing in this fabric, but we've got some great ones we're going to show you in just a minute. But first, let's talk about all of the great characteristics about this pattern. We have almost like a double focus here. So our pink is our focus and our green is our number 3. We're putting it in both places, and we have the great number 2 here as the background. This is a super super fast pattern to put together, but what this does is it gives you these windows to put some really, really rich, bold prints. And we've got some good ones for you, so let's go check it out. Okay, so we have put some great fabric into this dash pattern.
This is perfect.
This is perfect for that style of room, because I know a lot of people love the more colorful and bold prints, and this room is gorgeous. And like you said, there's so many points of interest, and the quilt is going to be the cherry on top.
But you know what? I know we're talking about that awesome room with all the interest, but this would look good in one of those more minimalistic houses, because it would give you that pop of color that would get your attention too.
That's right. So you can kind of take it two ways. So let's look at this fabric. Okay, so first we've got this amazing print here, and the cranberries and the pinks and the greens and the browns, which is just gorgeous, and it's this bold print similar to what we saw in that room. Now this is going to be our focus fabric, and it's going to go everywhere the pink is, like I mentioned at the quilt. Now for our number 2, we are using this great textural kind of off-white. It is going to go everywhere this polka dot is. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you that resting spot for your eye. But when you have the resting spot, what happens is it really highlights your focus fabrics. So in this case, we have kind of a double focus. So here's our number 3. And once again, we have some great pinks, some of that apricot crush in there, a little bit of purple, and that is going to go in our alternate block, which is where the green is, and the little green here as well. Little peekaboo. But this is going to be so great and just so like a punch of yumminess. So when you look at this image, you can see that it picks up all of those really bold, bright colors that were in the room picture, but it really gets highlighted because of the number 2 fabric.
And isn't it interesting that the colors actually create a contrast also?
Yes.
I like that.
It's really, really cool. This is beautiful fabric and dash. Love this.
I like it too.
All right, so let's get you the kit information on this. The kit is called Bold Bouquet. This is our dash pattern from our Easy Peasy book.
Now the next one is an extreme different from the last one we looked at. This one is a little more traditional and subtle
Color palette.
Yes, the color palette is much more subtle. Now, a few of the things that I see, again, we're back to that, find a picture and then pick out the elements, and it's a good exercise for you to begin to see how that works whenever you're decorating with quilts. But this one has a lot of nature touches in it.
It does. It really does. The pictures on the wall. It has lots of wood tones, which of course are nature.
And the baskets.
Yes.
And I really like that antique bed. Isn't that gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
And see, I'm the kind of person that I like to sprinkle my house with a few antiques here and there. I kind of like that little look. So let's talk about what kind of quilt we would put in there, what the design of the quilt would be, and what the kind of fabric that we would use. It would be perfect on that bed.
Oh, absolutely. It would just give it that extra coziness.
Now this is the Byzantine Door quilt, and this one has that more traditional feel to it. For instance, it looks a little bit like the picture frame paneling that you see in some of the rooms, and also the paneling on doors. So let's put it on the table and talk about it. So this fabric is perfect. It hits all the right spots.
It really does, and it is beautiful. I can so see this quilt on the end of that bed.
Well, you know, this is another one of those patterns which you could very easily use a double focus on. And because when you're making a 3-yard quilt, you can put any fabric in any position as long as you cut everything we say from that one position.
Right.
So in this case, we've kind of done that little twist to it, because we're going to start with our focus fabric, which is filled with all those nature things that we talked about from that photo. And that's going to be everywhere you see the floral on this particular quilt.
Okay.
And then you take your focus out of the equation, and then you compare your 2 and 3. And if you kind of squint whenever you're looking at a fabric, because this one's got a lot going on, you can pick out which one is your darkest one, or in this case, we wanted it to be like a double focus, so we put that in the number 2.
It's perfect.
And you still have the contrast, because you've got your light is going to be your frame here and here.
Okay, it's perfect.
Isn't
I
that
can
great?
see this, yes.
So I think this is going to be beautiful in that room.
I do
Draped
too.
across that bed, I can see it just as clear as day. So this is the image, and isn't it fun?
It is so pretty.
I love it.
This fabric is gorgeous in this pattern. It really,
is.
really is. And talk about a fast one. These are nice big blocks on here too, so it's going to go together so fast.
And it's done in such a way that you're actually going to do some strip piecing, and it goes together in a hurry. And it does have all of those elements like the picture frame paneling,
Yes.
the traditional touches to the fabric. So this one's going to be perfect for a room like that.
Yes.
Now this one is called Classical Songbirds. It's Byzantine Door is the pattern, and it's from our very first book, Quick and Easy 3-Yard Quilts.
So our next room image that we have here is kind of it's like a thrifted look, or handmade things and natural things, and how it all comes together. We've got some pops of color, lots of different textures, lots of greenery. It's really fun.
Well, you know, it reminds me of some of the things. I'm always saying this about Fran, but you know, we are mother and daughter, but she's taught me so much about like decorating my house and things like that. And I still remember when I was agonizing over buying something, and she said, "Mom, if you like it, you buy it and it will go together." And that advice has never failed me. If I like it, it'll go together.
Because you go together.
Well, yeah.
And it works.
And that's what this is. These are all of my favorite things in this room.
And I love it because we have like a crocheted bedspread and everything, and that pop of color with that scarf. So we've got a great quilt we're going to put together for you. So let's go check that pattern out. So this is our balance pattern, and this is really a fun one. So it kind of has a quirkiness just in the design of how it's pieced, because we have a nice bordered block here, and then we have a rectangle. And when you put this together, it kind of offsets these little squares, which gives you that randomness, that more of a little fun, quirky, handmade look, which is really fun. Now we have got some great fabric that's going to be great in this pattern. So let's go check it out. Okay, Mom, I love this fabric. And
I do too.
It's so interesting because, okay, I want to give a quick shout out to Hannah. She pulled a lot of this for us, and she did such a fabulous job matching these kits to the room pictures. And this is so spot on perfect, because when we look at the fabric that we're going to put in balance and how it matches that style of that room, remember how we were saying there's lots of texture and there's lots of like hand work that was in there, like we saw like vintage bedspreads that were crocheted and different things like this. So this kit is so cool because the fabric, one, very textured, very bright colored, very fun, would be great like that bed scarf in that picture.
Well, do you remember whenever you were a little girl and I was going through my boho, boho
gypsy phase?
Yes, whatever it was, you know. We had a wild and crazy house, but I was teaching you how to do crewel embroidery.
Yes.
And that's what you've got with these flowers.
I love this because it looks like they're hand stitched, which is so cool. So this one is our focus fabric. Our focus fabric is going to go in the center of these squares here and on the border. Now, then our number 2 fabric, it's kind of a duplication, not exactly, it's a little bit more spaced out flowers, but they still match and they still look hand stitched. So this fabric is going to go in the background here. And then our number 3, this is so cool.
It is so cute.
It does, it looks like it's embroidered, and it's really fun. This is our number 3. It's going to go on the borders of our blocks as well as the border of the quilt. Now, all of these colors really go together, and you're probably thinking, this is so crazy busy, but it works.
It works. We love all 3 of these, and all 3 of these are going to just be beautiful.
It is so great, and for this kind of style of room, it really works. So let's show you the image of the quilt pulled together.
I love it.
And you can see how that green embroidered fabric, it's not embroidered, it looks embroidered, borders those 2 prints so perfectly, and it almost is like the number 3 is where your eye rests, which is kind of cool. It's different. But I can so see this quilt draped over that bed.
Absolutely.
In that room, giving it that pop of color and that handmade look, which of course the 3-yard quilt's going to be handmade, so that's fabulous. And then we've got our handmade styled fabric, which
that is the cutest quilt. It is absolutely adorable.
it is so cute. And you know what this kind of has inspired me to do a little bit?
What?
Kind of off the wall. I think I'm going to go home and take pictures of my room.
Which one?
My living room, my bedroom, my guest bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And get a picture so that I can say, okay, what's coming out here and what kind of quilt do I need in here?
What a great idea.
I think that would be fun to do.
Yes.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay.
So let's get you the kit information on this darling quilt kit. It is called Vintage Soul, and this is our balance pattern, and it is from the book Quilts on the Double. And we are suggesting the alternate of Picture Perfect because the balance is only in the book.
So the next one that we have here is an entryway. And you
Okay.
know, there are a lot of homes with nice entryways that just look stunning. And this is one where it's sort of a kind of a farmhousey kind of
A look. It's a little distressed with
Yeah.
the way the bench is distressed in the paint.
And that wood floor, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
But the greenery just kind of sets it off. It just makes it look, I think it's kind of like you said earlier about one of them being kind of nature inspired.
Yes.
It has a little bit of that. It's like you're walking in from the outdoors and you still have a little touch of the outdoors in the hall.
Yeah.
But a quilt, oh my goodness, a quilt in this would look gorgeous. So let's look at our next choice. Now this pattern is one of our brand new individual patterns. It's called Carousel. And Carousel has a really cool block that is made with strip piecing, and it almost mimics the look of like that wood floor that we were talking about in that particular entryway. And it still has all of these wonderful colors that are kind of nature, but we have new fabric to show you, so let's put it on the table and talk about it. Now the new fabric that we have for this one is going to be so gorgeous. It's going to work perfectly for that entryway. You remember how I said you're coming from outside, but once you get into the entryway, you still have a little touch of that outdoor feeling as you kind of segue into the rest of the house. Am I getting poetic?
You are. And I love this because I think this style of rose, this little bouquet that is on here, really kind of works with that distressed wood bench that was in that entryway. I really love that.
That is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Well, we're going to put this in our #1 spot, so it'll be in each one of these places and also out on the border. And then we're going to do what we're always saying, and that is our #2 is the lightest of the remaining fabrics, and the #3 is the darkest. But we don't like boring. So this is precious. It carries that same little theme of the little white roses.
I love that.
And that will be over here. And I love that look, almost like a parquet floor.
Yes, it kind of is a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Very
all
cool.
done with strip piecing, so it's super easy. So this is our #2. It's going to go here. Our #3 is going to go here and here. And it is just going to look awesome.
Yeah.
So,
And this is a really easy pattern. And I know one of the things that we've been pointing out when we're talking about this pattern, and I'd like to do that here, is how this will go together fast, and it's a great beginner pattern because there's no matching seams in the block itself, which is awesome. Now, we have some other new patterns that we have introduced, and if you haven't gone and watched that video, be sure and check it out, our 5 new patterns, because there's another one in that video too that's like that as well, that there's no matching seams in a block. This is going to be fast, easy, and success is guaranteed because of that.
absolutely. And when you've been quilting in a while, you know if you're not having to make sure you get real precise with those corners, it goes a lot faster.
Zoom a lot.
But let's see how this new fabric looks in this awesome quilt. This one is just so sweet. It has that same look, it has that same feel of the coming from the outdoors to the indoors and kind of soothing.
It is. It's, you know, there's nothing better in a home to soften it and give it that cozy feel than a quilt. And this one is going to be beautiful.
I think so too. Now this one is called Happiness Blooms, and the pattern is Carousel. You know, looking at all those pictures and picking out all those quilts, it makes me think about my style. And I think my style is early Donna. It has a little bit of a minimalist flair to it. I do have that neutral color palette throughout, but I have a lot of dark brown trim, and I do have lots of quilts that are draped over chairs and rolled up in baskets.
And they look gorgeous.
They look gorgeous. And we use them.
Yeah.
We use them. How about you? What is your style?
Mine is probably very much Fran. I have a lot of mix, but I think whenever I go from room to room, my rooms are actually a little different from each other. So like that beautiful floral that was in the dash pattern would look great in my living room.
Oh, it would.
It really would. So that's probably closer to my style. Bold pops of color. I love that. So it's really fun. So let us know, what is your style and what was your favorite quilt that you saw today? We'd love to know.
And if you're picking out a quilt to go in your home, a lot of times you're going to want something larger than just a lap quilt. Remember that every one of our patterns in every one of our books gives you enlargements for twin and king queen. You just multiply the number of kits that you purchase and you can make it as large as you want.
So if you want to know more about enlarging, we have a video on that. It's going to pop up on the screen now, so be sure and check that out.